What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Collider Interview Studio Fantastic Fest 2024. I am so excited to be celebrating the anniversary of the Babadook with Jennifer Kent.
Hi,
it's
Perri.
Wild sitting here all
nuts.
these years later.
It's crazy.
I still can't quite believe it's been this long, but then again, I look around in my apartment at all the Babadook stuff I've accumulated, and I'm like, no, you actually needed time to buy all of this. So I wanted to start with a big, broad question about genre storytelling, horror storytelling, especially because we're at Fantastic Fest, where that is what we're celebrating.
Yeah.
What do you think it is about genre storytelling that lets us tap into and explore difficult human truths, maybe more effectively than any other genre?
Well, I think when you put it in a drama context, usually the parameters are smaller, so narrower, and there's more taboos. Whereas I think the beauty of, horror and sci-fi and fantasy and all of those bolder genres is that there's more wiggle room so that you can deal with a taboo. Like in the Babadook, a woman wanting to murder her own child and, not be absolutely annihilated for doing so.
I love the thought of being able to process the grounded and the intimate things in life, but via the extreme in horror. I feel like sometimes you need to be hit over the head with something big and bold to really be able to put it into focus versus sometimes having a more subtle storytelling beat with it.
Yeah, because I think, I did toss up, well, what realm is this film going to sit in? When I was first initially sort of developing it, it just never, it feels too operatic, I think, for sort of a small drama or a more realistic space.
In all honesty, over the years, the amount of times I've had some sort of like internal struggle and viewed it as my Babadook and tried to process it or compartmentalize it that way. It's really something else.
A friend of mine came up to me after they just had a baby and he said, his partner had had a baby, and he said, now I understand your film. Not that he wanted to murder his child, but just the kind of sleeplessness and the confronting nature of it. So, it's nice when people relate to it.
That's also one of the coolest things about movies in general that I love. You can love a movie one day for one particular reason, but then revisit it 10 years later. And depending on how you've grown as a person, like you might still love it for the same reasons, but you'll also find new things that you never realized existed all that time ago. Yeah,
or sometimes I've found a film that initially I actually don't like. And then I've watched it. Like, that happened with, I'm ashamed to admit, with Mulholland Drive, with Lynch's. I was so annoyed when I first saw it. I wanted something very linear and I was frustrated. And then I saw it again and fell asleep halfway through, woke up and I thought, maybe I'm starting to feel what this film is about. And then each time I've seen it since, it's a masterpiece.
Yeah.
It's really, I changed. And the film now means something very different to me.
My example that embarrasses me to say, but I feel like some people out there already know this, is I saw Karan Kusama's The Invitation when it premiered at South by. I'm like, this is just not working for me at all. I think it was a late screening. I'm sure it was a variety of reasons why I was not in the mind frame to be ready to ingest a movie like that.
Yeah.
Then I watched it again. I'm like, oh my, like, what was I thinking? And now I think it is one of the genre movies that I've probably rewatched and loved the most over the years.
I've seen that several times, actually. It's very disturbing and very true somehow. Yeah, I love it.
I wanted that to continue too. I wanted to see what happened in other houses that put lanterns out at the end.
Yeah, frightening stuff.
So one of my favorite things about preparing for this interview right now is we were sent press notes. Yeah. And we were sent the press notes from 2014. So it was interesting reading all of that now. There's a bunch of things that I flagged here. So in those notes, there's a mention that the idea for the Babadook didn't come to you in like a light bulb form. So it's making me think of this particular question that I love asking. Going back, do you remember what idea number one is? The thing that started this all, but then also if you had a break story moment, something you came up with along the way that made you think this is a full story for a movie now?
Well, I tend to want to write from an idea, one sort of abstract idea even, or a thematic idea. And I was in the process of grieving. And so it wasn't like, oh, I want to make a film about grieving. Actually wanted to make it about suppression. I wanted to, because I was kind of fascinated and disturbed by the idea that someone would not go through this. You know, what would happen to them if they didn't go through a big loss? And that's, I guess, the lightning bolt that came to me. And then from there on in, things just grew and formed around that idea.
To build on that a little, during production or perhaps even in the edit, is there anything you discovered in your own story that you wrote that you didn't even realize was there and now it's in the final film?
I think that happens with every film, actually. I think that we think we're fully cognizant of what the film is about, but if you have a deep idea and you commit to it, it's amazing to me how when people actually watch the film and come to you and say, oh, I got this from it, I got that from it. And I think, I didn't actually intend that. But it's amazing that you found that, because that thing you're saying is true.
Oh, I'm gonna come back to that, actually, because one of my absolute favorite things about filmmaking is we always talk about how a movie is one thing when you're writing it, it's another on set, then it's another in the edit when you're actually finishing it. But then I think there's a whole other layer where it takes on a new life when you actually give it to moviegoers. So of all of those reactions, is there any particular one that, you know, redefined your own movie for you the most that you hold especially tight to?
I had without giving too much away about this person, I had someone reach out to me who said that they lost their father when they were a kid, and their mum was a single mum of 3 boys, and he was watching the film. I was working and sort of half watching the film one night, and then he started to sort of listen to what was going on and was really drawn in. And he said, thank you, your film gave me more than 20 years of therapy, you know, because it really spoke to him about his own loss. So, I mean, that's very precious to me. I mean, that's why I make films, you know. It's not for anything else other than to really reach someone. And there are other instances like that have happened that just make it all worthwhile.
Oh, that's such a beautiful example. Now to narrow that down to things, is there any particular piece of Babadook fan art, I don't know, a tattoo, something someone gave you that you cherish?
I don't know if you can grab that. Maybe
Which one?
I can. Oh, you can see a framed illustration there.
Oh my God.
Someone at the New York screening, I don't know if you can actually see it on camera very well.
So beautiful.
But they came up to me, this little, not little, but this young person just sort of gifted me this and then said, this is for you. I really love this film and I've done so much art around it. And I don't know, I'm blown away by things like that, because I feel someone is making art as a response to what you've given, and it's a real thrill. It's precious.
That is such a special thing. Yeah. I'm a little obsessive with collecting Mondo posters. So like one of the crown jewels in my apartment is a particular Mondo poster from the Babadook.
Yes, I have also some Mondo posters. I have one of The Exorcist. The one I love is my favorite poster of the Babadook, actually, is the Mondo, the We Buy Your Kids poster. Yeah. Yeah, and the other one from them that I love is American Werewolf in London. So I have those 3 at home in my office.
Oh, that's a good. Those are all good. I have too many to count. We will be sitting here for hours if I named all my Mondo posters. Yeah. One of my greatest recent memories, I'm allowed to say this because I was allowed to say I was on this set. I saw Essie on the set of the Alien TV show.
Oh, did you?
And we were just chit-chatting about the Babadook and showed her the poster, and she loved it.
Yeah.
I want to go into the look of the Babadook, because the other thing that the notes was reminding me about was that earlier on, when you were first designing the look of the creature, the design didn't feel quite right initially, and then you had brought Alex in. So I am wondering, can you explain what those early designs looked like and how things shifted when Alex became a direct participant in that?
I mean, it's really just about style, and sometimes an artist can be brilliant, but then when they start to put together, in this case, it was the Mr. Babadook, it didn't feel right. And it's almost something that can't be articulated. And when I saw Alex's work, I had an inkling that he was the one. And then he just started to put these crazy illustrations together. And I thought, this is the guy. So then we got him out, quite a while before pre-production so that we could work on the book first before we worked on anything else.
What would you say is the biggest difference between how you first pictured the Babadook creature looking when you first put pen to paper and what he now looks like in not only the finished film, but all that fan art everyone's creating?
Well, there's just slight variations, to the left and right of center. And I don't know. I mean, I'm just so happy. I'm happy with the way it's worked out. I like the hokiness of it. It's come, I think, it's not new knowledge to anyone that I was inspired by Lon Chaney's makeup in London After Midnight, that lost film. And, but yeah, it's Mr. Babadook has his own spin on that look.
I'm obsessed with the look. I am also obsessed with the sound of the Babadook too. And I am curious, did you go through any trial and error when finding the right voice for the character?
Yes, because we had to kind of work out what was scary. It could have sounded stupid, and we had to kind of test different Babadooks and see what. And then when we hit on a certain way of doing it, it made the hairs on the back of my neck stand up, and I thought, okay, that's it.
Great success in that respect. My whole family is horror lovers. They all love the Babadook, and we'll just walk around. I'm not gonna do it right now, but we'll do Babadook do in the creepy voice. Yeah. Just to annoy each other, and make our the hair stand. Yeah,
apparently Danielle from IFC was saying that when they first, started promoting this, she would ring journalists and just play the Babadook into the phone and then hang up, which was before they knew what was going on.
I feel now I'm going to wind up doing that later today and disturbing someone in my life. To flip around the idea of things being disturbing, we have been asking this question to every filmmaker during Fantastic Fest this year because of something that came up in our first interview here. And we'll give you the lengthy backstory. Our first interview was for The Rule of Jenny Penn. It's the John Lithgow, Jeffrey Rush movie. And James, that director, was busy saying one of the coolest things was seeing these acting icons take such joy and pride in their work. So looking back on the making of the Babadook, what would you say was the single moment you experienced the most joy on that set?
Well, I think watching Essie and Noah together and seeing that boy who only had 5 or 6 years on this earth with so much emotional intelligence and so much commitment, he would just blow me away. And I think watching it, I did a director's commentary with Mike Flanagan a couple of days ago, and what a special experience that was for many reasons, but also to see Noah up on the screen just being so honest and present in his performance. It's a knockout.
I love that example. I know you have said you have no interest in making a sequel to this movie, but looking back, because I have to imagine when it came out and it was so successful, there was pressure to do it. Over the course of the years, have you come anywhere close to even considering, or has it always been a firm no since the moment this came out?
It's just a firm no. I think that it would somehow, and I don't have any problem with sequels at all. I just think that with this, it would somehow just not be necessary. And I think if a film's not necessary, why spend the money making it?
I very much understand that.
Yeah.
Here's one kind of, not a sequel idea, but a spin that I've had on my mind since I first saw it. I'm just curious. The answer to this could be no, but Mr. Babadook is a manifestation basically of all of the feelings that she's suppressing in this particular story. Do you imagine that another person in this reality has the same thing but with a different looking creature, or do they all look like Mr. Babadook?
I don't know, because I think that you can't have Mr. Babadook without Amelia or Sam. So I don't know what he would look like.
So it wouldn't be Mr. Babadook. Somebody else's suppressed emotions would be something else.
Yeah, I mean, and it's not just suppressed emotions. It's so much else. It's like this trio of necessary items. I don't think you could remove one and take one out and put it somewhere else.
My brain operates like, again, I do appreciate sequels. My brain operates more so in the anthology format.
Yeah.
And the thought of seeing how this story might differ with other people experiencing other difficulties in life.
Yeah.
Fascinates me.
Yeah. It won't be coming from me.
Yeah.
But I appreciate you actually thinking that it could go on beyond this.
I think about it quite often. But speaking of what could come next from you, I did hear that you have another movie cooking. Is there anything you could tease about what that is?
I have about 6 or 7, but one that's looking very real. Yeah.
Can you tease what genre it falls into? Because you could do anything.
It's fantasy horror.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I will take that.
Yeah. And there's a certain poetry to it, and it's an adaptation of a book.
Oh.
Yeah, so I really want to be able to tell you what it is. I so want to, but it's probably a week off.
Okay.
Yeah, a couple of weeks off. Yeah.
I'm going to
we'll let you know.
I'm going to send all the good vibes your way. And the moment you are able to announce, I will probably be seeking out that book and reading it immediately.
Yes. Yeah.
Just in general, looking at the future of horror filmmaking, I am wondering, is there a recent horror movie you've seen that gives you hope for, the future of genre storytelling in this industry?
I was asked that, and the one film I guess that keeps sticking in my mind is His House.
Ooh,
that came out.
I love His House.
Yeah, that came out, and the reason I mention it is because, the dreaded pandemic, I believe it came out around the beginning of that, and then I think it just got swamped in the ocean of Netflix. I think it's so. If you haven't seen it, I think go and watch it, because it's very scary, and it's beautiful and sad and all the things I love in a horror.
Because that was at Sundance the year you were there with the Nightingale, or were those different years?
No, I think it must have been later, because
quite possibly.
I think it's probably a year or two later. I
think
believe
that makes sense, because I feel like I did my His House interview in a studio, and we were like old school with like
we were huddled around
I might have had like a little handy cam kind of thing.
I can remember seeing snow outside when we were talking.
Speaking of movies that give me great hope, I think of Aisling all the time, and stop motion is phenomenal. She's so good in it, and the idea of like getting in an artist's head while using the stop motion animation format to tell a story that way, it's just, that's like next level stuff.
Yeah, she's good she's great in everything she does. Yeah, and that's like a one woman show.
Oh yeah,
that film. So yeah, an amazing performance.
She's also great in Speak No Evil, which is in theaters right now.
I've seen the original, which is yes. So, but I'm curious to see the English version.
Oh yeah. It's good. It's exciting. I can get very sensitive about remakes, especially of recent films. I think that is a good example of having done it and done it well and with purpose, which I appreciate.
Okay, great. That's really interesting.
Yes. Yeah. So we have said Speak No Evil, His House. His House was my favorite of one of my favorites of Sundance that year, and it was in my top 10. It is still streaming on Netflix. Please check that out in between your rewatches of the Babadook, which, I mean, I feel like I should only speak for myself, but I know I could speak for many people out there where, like, I adore your movie. It grows every single time I watch it. And again, it is the perfect example of horror storytelling that helps me, I guess, find peace in my own very real day to day. And that's quite the accomplishment with filmmaking.
Thank you.
Thank you for revisiting with us.
Well, it's amazing it's amazing to have a film remembered after 10 years.
Very special.
Yeah,
very
for sure.
special. So congratulations.
Thanks
for talking with us. And to everybody out there, go rewatch The Babadook more than you already have. Also, stay tuned. More conversations from Fantastic Fest for you soon.